So the truth is, I go easy on him, and he goes easy on me.
Okay.
Well, funny you should say that. That's the way I see it. Andy's got all the power here. So, regardless of what I do here today, Andy can still destroy me in 5 minutes' time. So I feel I need to kamikaze this speech.
So it's difficult following Kyle. So I decided if I can't beat him, I'll just join him. We're very honoured to be best men. Thank you, Chef. We know the real best man can't be here today, but we know he's watching. We're going to be very happy for you two.
We first met Andy in John Marshall's computer class in college. And it was quite apparent straight away that Andy was one of the cool people. He hung out with the elite crowd. He had a car, which not many of us did. And he used to even go cruising and blaring his music out full blast. Might have to point out here at this point, the music he used to play was Britney Spears. So we decided we're going to make Andy our friend. And for us to do that, we had to bring him down a few levels and make him uncool like I like to think that we achieved this because at the end of college, during the college awards, through a rather corrupt voting system, I might add, we managed to secure in third place in the sleaziest guy in college. Did we make him uncool? Well, I think I've got a bit of evidence here that says just that. No, he's no low shade that. Now a little story for you. One day, Andy was round at my house watching a film none other than Star Trek. He had work in half an hour, and he really wanted to find out if Captain Picard's going to beat the Romulans. So any other person would have thought, I'll go to work, I'll come back, I'll watch the rest of the film later. Not Andy Shepherd. Andy leaves my house, he gets into his car, he turns on the engine, and he rings work and says, I'm really sorry, I'm stuck in a traffic jam. It's going to be about an hour and a half. Didn't even realise the flaw in his own plan, he only lives 2 minutes away from home.
Andy was never early for work, ever.
We've been looking forward to this speech for about 10 years. If Shep weddings are anything like Shep house parties, it's going to be a few sore heads in the morning, a few broken bits of furniture at the ground. Sorry, John. Our teenage years were spent in the Shep household. Who else's parents were that relaxed? It was great. So we always went round to yours. This led to some memorable occasions. I believe the stains are still on the carpet.
I think to be fair to Shep's parents, they weren't there most of the time. We can't say too much about the Shepherd parties because maybe they're not appropriate. Suffice to say that all the stories involved either alcoholism, the failure to keep alcohol within the body, or in one case, the mysterious case of the Shepherd Christmas tree that made still to this day I say. However, we do have a story of a party that we had at my house that the Shepherd's involved in. And it kind of went a little bit like this. For once, my parents have gone away. So as you do when you're young, free for all. Everybody goes to the house. So the party went on. We'd already broken an expensive horse ornament and glued the leg on it one way around. You'd crashed your car. Round the post box. Sorry, you don't come up with any speech either. And Dan, that we mentioned before, was sick on a towel, which Ashley then dried his hair on later. April of 1991. So anyway, we decide, right, it's time to start laying up the alcohol. We think about calling it in. 11 o'clock, Andrew Shepherd arrives. Bottle of wine in hand, determined to get the party started. Suffice to say, nobody joined in. Andy then proceeded to get what I would probably term as obliterated throughout the night, on his own. And the next day, we all leave the house, we all go to college. Andy leaves the house, gets in his car once more, makes it 10 metres out of my drive, parks in front of the local corner shop, and goes to sleep in the seat in front of all the passengers.
2006, myself and Dan and Shep went to Las Vegas. I know, Shep, we said, what happens in Vegas? So, it doesn't involve donuts, this one. So, we know you've got two fears, Shep. So, I'm going to talk about one of those fears. And that's heights. So, we thought it'd be a good idea to go to the Grand Canyon, 2,600 feet up. Sit you on the edge of that. And then we went to the top of the stratosphere with the roller coasters and things on the top. You didn't go on those. In fact, you went green after about 2 minutes and went back down in the lift. The other fear that Shep has, which probably people don't know about, is hamsters.
Okay, if there was one story I was going to tell about Shep today, she probably knows which story it's going to be, and he probably hates me for telling it. This is a story that really emphasises the monster that is Andrew Shep. So I'll set the scene for you. It's back in our uni days. I'm at the Uni of Lincoln, he's at the Uni of Loughborough, and one night we decide to drive through and go and see him. We have a really good night. Next day, as you do when you got hangover, you go to Mackie D's. And I sat there and said, what do you reckon? Should I stay one more night, we'll have another party? And Shep said, Kyle, I can't. I've got an exam in 2 days' time, I need to revise. Fair enough. Now the next line I said was only really a bit of a joke. I said, good, you can always come to Lincoln tonight and have a party at mine. Why that logic escaped Shep, I'm not too sure, but he thought, that's a brilliant idea. So a few hours later, we're in Lincoln, we meet with Dan. We have another really good night. And I believe that we ended up walking a girl home. There wasn't anything like that. It's just because we're moral citizens, you see. Walk this girl home, we get to a house, coincides with the rest of her flatmates getting there, and we find out the house has been burgled while we're around. Someone's come through the window, come through the whole bottom floor, and looted everything. At this point, another flatmate that was upstairs all along comes downstairs. She's naturally upset. She thinks, my God, this burglar was in the house when I was upstairs. And she starts crying. At this point, a normal human being would try and console this person. Not Andrew Shepherd. The Andrew Shepherd solution to this problem, to tackle it head on, is to try and emphasise to her all the bad things that could have happened to her. And it went a little bit like this. Yeah, but just think, you could have, he was in the house and nobody... Shut up. No, I'm just saying. You could have gone upstairs. No, I'm just saying. You could have gone in your bedroom and nobody would have known. Suffice to say, we're never back to that. And then we're back to my house where Shep and Dan had a play fight that lasted for an hour and broke my flatmate's Xbox. To this day, he still doesn't know why it was pancaked. And I seem to remember the next day, we did finally go back to Lincoln, back to Loughborough. And me and Dan were sat there having a quiet little beer. We got a text from you that said, my kettle has broken. Now, a lot of you that know Shep well will know that Shep can't survive without a cup of tea. So we decided to go and say, hey, what are you going to do? Exam now, 8 hours away. Shep is already in the bus going into town to try and find a new kettle. Not so good. Did you pass the exam in the end? Danny?
Of course, during the later years, we've all had to grow up a little bit. We've grown up and Shep's hair's grown out. I don't know why I'm making that. He's now got better taste in music than Britney Spears. In fact, he got into rock music once. We went to a club with him, decided to give him a bump for his birthday. Unbeknown, he had a broken rib already. That didn't really help, did it? We were all warned by Shep before we first met him not to give any of these stories. And I think we've kind of stuck to that, haven't we? Yeah. So, as we've grown older in Carver, we're really pleased that Shep's finally met a lovely and respectable woman, and we're all happy together.
Now, funny you should say that. We tried to dig out a bit of dirt on that. We went to Mel's mum, Mel's dad, Mel's maid of honour, Mel's brother, and a couple of Mel's friends. We were really hoping to have some, but the truth is, we actually couldn't find anything. In fact, I think the only thing that we could find was a story about how, when you were younger, you were a little bit stubborn, and you didn't like chicken. So the only way they could ever get to eat chicken was to tell you that it was something else. And then tell you it was chicken afterwards to make you cry. But in truth, that is the only story we actually found out about Mel. So maybe the reason why we couldn't find any of these stories, Andy, is because she is perfect. Well done.
We're both so pleased that you found each other. It's easy to see you make each other happy. And we wish you a lifetime of happiness. So if everyone could please stand.
And if everybody could raise your glasses one last time.
To Andy and Mel.